Paul Stanley gave a pretty interesting interview on Steve O's Wild Ride channel. And in that interview, he said some interesting things about on-stage interpersonal dynamics, not only in KISS, but other bands, and specifically in relation to the Jane's Addiction on-stage fight that took place a few weeks ago. So let's listen to what Paul Stanley had to say about on-stage fights with KISS and with other bands.
What about like being on stage and having some riffs with your bandmates? Like, did you see Perry Farrell and Dave Navarro?
Yeah. Yeah.
Has it ever come close to that, or are you just kind of keeping it all in and you say something afterwards?
Cardinal rule. You don't hit and you don't bring your problems on stage. And we would go on stage and have a great time, sometimes playing, and then walk off stage and not be talking to each other. The audience doesn't deserve that.
Right.
The audience paid. People get one chance to see you, possibly on a tour. It doesn't matter about last night or about the night after. Mm-hmm. That's their night. And for them to see you not interacting with your bandmate, that's disrespectful to the people who paid. So, no, we would go. I mean, there was a few times where there were two people who wouldn't be talking to two other people. Go up on stage and rock out and have a great time, and then you walk off stage and you don't have anything to do with them. It's your job.
When he says that there were times in KISS when two of the members wouldn't speak to the other two members, it's not difficult to understand which of the two members he's talking about in terms of it being Gene and himself not speaking with Peter and Ace. And I think that what he's trying to say in this response is that, sure, there were lots of times when we would have liked to have had an on-stage altercation, but we were professional enough to get over all of those negative feelings. Now, I think this is an admirable position to take, and I agree with what he says 100%. And I would think that that kind of mentality is crucial to any band. But what I want to ask you is the following. Number one, if you're a musician and you have any experience of playing in a band setting, especially if you played professional gigs, have you encountered this kind of problem where you've had interpersonal friction that boils over into the actual performance? What were the repercussions of not having a professional attitude like Paul Stanley is talking about here? And two, do you agree that this was the case in KISS as Paul Stanley suggests? Now, I don't have any direct evidence, video evidence or audio evidence, to show that there were on-stage fights with KISS between the members on stage. On the other hand, I know from being a long-time fan of KISS that there are few bands that have as much interpersonal friction going on between them, particularly in regard to the original four members. They are positively toxic when it comes to their relations with one another and how they speak about each other. This includes Gene and Paul's relationship. They are also very contentious with each other. So KISS has a lot of bad blood in the band between the members, and it seems likely to me that there had to be occasions where that friction boiled over on stage, where paying fans would have seen it. And one example I can think of is Paul Stanley saying that Peter Criss used to throw his drumsticks at the other band members if they got in between him and the audience, even though his drums were up on drum risers. So this showed that some of the animosity did manifest onto stage. We have direct reference to it by Paul Stanley in this particular case. Of course, that's not as bad as the Dave Navarro and Perry Farrell incident or other incidents you could name with other bands, but it is an example of on-stage animosity. So what I want to know is, if you're a KISS fan, have you ever seen an example of an on-stage altercation between the band members when you were at a concert or in video footage that you've come across? And if you have, please let us know about it. For my own part, I think that Paul Stanley is probably not only giving out excellent advice in this case, but actually stating the policy that the band members adhered to most of the time while they toured together, even though, as I say, they had extreme problems with one another on an interpersonal basis. So I think that their dedication to professionalism is probably the only thing that made it work as long as it did. This is what I think, but what really matters is what you think. So if you have an idea about this or any other topic connected to classic or contemporary music, please drop it in the section below and remember to like and subscribe. Also check out the join button that's available now. If you become a channel member, you'll gain access to members only badges, polls, videos, and other cool content you'll see when you click on the button. You can also help out the channel by clicking on the Buy Me a Coffee link, going to the Buy Me a Coffee site, and leaving a donation. Every little bit helps this channel stay strong. Thanks a lot.